Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it. This is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. It's Friday, so why not? But I want to bring your attention to a show that I'm going to be having tonight. It's going to be very interesting. I'm encouraging all of you, those of you that are listening to this video, to tune in tonight, because perhaps this might be some of the reason why we have all of the mess that is going on in our own country, because you have to listen to these things. The trouble we've been having in Liberia didn't start overnight. These are things that's been happening from time to time. There are those who came before us, past generation, failed to recognize these things, and will continue to repeat them, and because we ourselves have not yet able to recognize and see if these things can be rectified, so that this country, beautiful country of ours, can be built just by our hands as Liberian. It doesn't matter who you are at this point. Concord country, it doesn't even exist anymore. We're all one another. We're all one country, one people. But if we do not understand why these things are happening to us, we're most likely not going to be able to find solution. So I ask you tonight to join me.
Yet, how does one begin to help people who swim on their own flooded streets to voting booths to vote incompetent criminals back into office?
Yes, that is a big question we all have to answer. How do you help people who will go to the voting booth swimming in their own flooded streets just to vote people in offices who are incompetent? And those incompetent people that are being voted in offices will also appoint people who are also incompetent. So this is like a big deal. How do we help our brothers and sisters to make sure that their voting rights are utilized effectively? They have the voting cards. They must be told how important their voting cards are to all of us. And so I'm saying, those of us that have this platform, this is not time for hate. You don't come into this because you hate. You must do all you can to educate the voters themselves, how important their voting cards are. Because of their vote, our leaders will be able to do what is right for our people. Join me this evening as I try to explore this particular question, and many more that will be coming. Join me this evening at 8 Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, where we will take on this question and be able to see how much we can go. With your help, we, the Liberian people, will be able to educate our brothers and sisters that have the right to vote whoever they want, but they must do so with responsibility. This is Samson Toll, LIBERIAN Public Radio. Thank you very much.
C'est autiste-moi, encore une autre fidèle qui l'Amérique a pas loupé nous. Quand il va Sylvie, il a quoi qui j'ai loupé presse. L'Amérique a pas loupé, t'as mon bien de moi avec moi nous deux. En somme à plus, on va battre au moins néo. Mon temps dit est à mon mounier, on s'abat des frères moi il pleure. Toi, là loupé yo.
Doing anything, the people getting amended. And there will be from 2005 to date. We're all doing anything. I've done something. Trust me. I'll be re-elected. You understand? So you don't need to fight. You don't need to destroy your country. You don't need to even condemn your country. You have to be inspired, peacefully, and then convince the people, persuade people. Politics is about persuasion. And it's about what you have done for your people. I have done so much that I don't need pay for. You know why I don't need pay for? Because Liberians love me and they promoted me when I was on a soccer page. You understand? And they were proud to be Liberian when I was on the soccer page. And I've done my best for my country. I'm a former peace ambassador. It doesn't matter what people say. I'm on record.
Yao, abela lokeyo, mi vito jogbai, mi vito noba, mati si mokeyo. Manager Gigi, ouais peut jamais forcer ou si tu connais tu connais. L'animateur Choco Noska Yassen de Toyebi, l'homme a tout fait pour mi vito, anitie les deux.
Henry, I can tell you the problem of this country with respect to prices, with respect to health, with respect to education, are largely tied to roads. There are no roads. You don't see opportunities where they should be when you don't have roads. From up to 173 years, we only have one road. How do you know what is happening in Bapolu when you don't have roads? You don't go there. The prices of goods, commodities on the market are high because to get them to where they are needed. So there's no way you can, when I talk about road, I'm not talking about 14 road on the sidewalk in Monrovia, $50,000 road and make it $3 million. We're talking about roads that will open up the country. We're talking about roads that will open up opportunities, roads that will get businesses going, and dependency reduced because people believe their goods and commodities can get to the market. That's what we're talking about.
But we'll prosecute and will confiscate assets that people steal and acquire by illicit means. I often say that in Liberia, when people get caught, they send their wife, they send their children, they send their relatives, whatever, to come and beg. I'm saying the Liberian people, don't come and beg. You know, don't come and tell me, oh, stand to help you get elected. He talked nice about you on the radio station. Now he's stealing, so forgive him. Stanley should have known when he was stealing that we're going to punish him. So there's going to be consequences. That's the first thing. Then we have to make sure we're paying people a living wage. So we did the arithmetic, we did the math in 2017 that when you look at policeman's salary or healthcare worker's salary or teacher's salary, by the middle of the month, the money finished. By the time they pay rent, they buy food, they pay the children tuition, and of course, they're not going to starve, right? So the policeman will pull you over, the teacher will accept bribe, they change grades.
Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIAN Public Radio. We're on it again this evening. We'll say thanks to all of you that have been listening and tuning in. Please share this video as much as you can. Thank you very much. Safety, Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening for bringing us here. My Lord, we ask you to continue to guide us, protect us, continue to bless us. Because of you, my Lord, everything is possible. Because of you, my Lord, we are here. Because of you, my Lord, we are protected. Not because of man. And God, we ask you to continue to protect us. My Lord, I will say it again tonight, and I will pray for that. That you continue to bless us, those of us that are in the diaspora, that we have two tables, my Lord. We got table here in the diaspora, and we have table back home in Liberia, that we're putting food on the table. And so because of your blessing, that we are able to maintain that. No man is able to give us that kind of power. Because of you, all of these things are possible. My Lord, we ask you to bless the country of the Republic of Liberia. We ask you to bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. We also ask you, my Lord, as we come out here tonight to open our mouth, we ask you to guide our tongues and our thoughts. As we open our mouth, whatever comes out of our mouth tonight about our brothers and sisters, my Lord, we ask you to guide it so that it will be a decent proposal from us. My Lord, we ask you to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let's get it going. Thank you, folks. I've already had with me Mr. Dr. Jones is here. O'Malley Jones, Otuvia is here with us, and we want to bring him on right away. Doc, good evening, and thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you, sir?
Thank you for joining us. I don't have much here tonight, but just go, what I posted up was, I know CUMMINGS and the agency is supposed to be selecting a vice presidential candidate here. And the question I have with me myself is that based on the selection or the decision-making process, will Liberians be able to glean into that and feel or see that CUMMINGS does have some credentials in terms of decision-making process and what have you. And in fact, because I've been on here saying that ANC and CUMMINGS read the tea leaves of Liberian politics and the Liberian electorates wrong by not going second to Honorable Wakai. And therefore, I feel within myself that the fact that I believe CUMMINGS is not truly connected, and so to single-handedly be able to defeat the sitting president, ANC, job is going to be much, much more difficult. But I'm wondering now that President, well, he has soon to be president, Ambassador Barker has already made that selection, selected the person in the name of Senator Cohn, whom everybody referred to from the UP as their rescue number 2. I was wondering now that has passed, now it is time for ANC to select. Would that be the selection process? Would that be some sort of a redeeming factor in terms of Cummings' ability to win over the Liberian people in this upcoming election? Doc, please, what am I saying here that perhaps it's not quite correct? You want to disabuse me on that, or even bring up your own thought? We'll appreciate it. Mr. Emma Joyce, don't be watching. Join us. Why are you watching us? If you can't join us, don't watch us. We don't want conservative eyeballs watching us. If you can't join us, then close your conservative eyes and just stay away from. But if you want to join us, bring your conservative idea on here. The liberals are waiting for you, and you know who. So bring it on. Go ahead, Dad.
First of all, I want to thank you for getting me on the platform tonight, which I thought is a very good idea. And secondly, I also want to appreciate you. This is something that you do on your platform. I have not seen it on any other platform, including our platform. You start your platform with inviting the law. It's something strange. It's like everybody get to the platform without political enthusiasm to get into issue, digest it, and move over. But it's like I see you handing the whole platform over to the law, and that's something I just took note of just now, and I want to appreciate you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
And the other thing I also want to appreciate you for is the issue of the analysis you just made about the 2 tables. I don't know how many people are thinking about that, but it's something that just caught my attention, and I didn't know that I was also in our whole 2-table operation. But now I know. Yes. Now it's like I think I even want to add on to that. Like I think I get more than 3 tables. Yes. And I think it is by his grace we try to apportion things on the various tables. It's just by his grace.
Yes.
It's not by our education. It's not by our strength. Sometimes you leave your home, you go to work, you don't even come back. By the time you get there, some of that supervisor been waiting for you. You are sacked that day, and how to even restructure and redistribute on the dining room table. Except the same law again, we just by the next day you get a phone call. Oh, you got to come for an interview. Oh, we just saw your paper today. Oh, can you come today? It's just by his grace.
By his grace.
Yes. And so I just want to thank you for the other aspect of your introduction, because I've been on a lot of platforms. Illustrate to the issue, political, and that's it. And we close and everybody go home, including my own traditional home platform. I know I'll be taking on, but we got to be very realistic. I will make our objective here. Our objective analysis here. And the next thing probably I would like to bring to your attention, I know you try to confer on me my degree, and which of course by God's willing is going to come. But I don't want for the outsider to say, oh, that platform there, by the time you start going to school, they start putting tattoo on your shoulder, you don't even graduate.
Dr. June, I don't care what the people say. Oh, I know you, my doctor. What they say, where is it? Because I know it coming. On a very serious note, you took your time here the other day and explained to us and explained to the audience that you're going to be taking time off going after this. And now that you're back, I just say with God's help, it's going to come. So I will continue to say that, and maybe if I want to modify it, I will say, okay, for respect's sake, we will say soon to be.
Yeah. So, because our platform entertain what I call a code of highlanders. So, with all of those clarification, I think You also added some little message to your introduction. That is, we should pray for our election, despite our tremendous differences, despite our dissatisfaction with how people are brought into the picture. Despite there's one bottom line that is between us and our bedroom when we're ready to go to bed. That bottom line is home. No matter how rotten our politicians are, they are our politicians. No matter how dishonest they have been up to now, with systemic corruption, with everything you can think about in this world, they are still our politicians. They are still our leaders, you know. And if you offer in prayer for our leaders, I think these are some of the distinct quality that I really appreciate. Yes.
Thank you.
I may be quite difficult. I may be complex on so many issues, but there's one thing at the end of the day. Whom is whom? Our leaders are our leaders. And you see, America a whole lot of problems. But one good thing I like about them, and something that you are just in the same direction, they will do all their things. You ever saw an ambassador go to Africa or Europe or Asia and tell the people the statistic of the homeless in your state?
No.
So what I'm seeing here is that they don't expose the ugly. Yes. But what I notice on our platform, sometimes we'll go to the extreme. Let me confess. We'll go to the extreme. Okay. Probably want to justify our ability to analyze as politicians. But I think these are something that we can also learn too, you know. But I can get a problem. That does not mean that finally I should take him to the crucifixion cross. It's like helping him not to get there with some suggestion and how we can get the way out. Because there are three things happening right now. Our leaders are our leader no matter what. Liberia is our country no matter what. Our differences will be there no matter what. Okay? So from no background, I would like to set the tunes of His Excellency to be, because we got too many excellency in the system now. And we got to give them that title because they fought hard to get a political party and they are called leaders. And so we respect them for that. Because we don't know what tomorrow holds for any of us to be in any of the basket tomorrow. So as we made our presentation, we put it in such a way that when the time comes, we will not be told to go to hell. We will not either be told to go to heaven, but probably will be told to be in the middle.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So with Cummings, I don't know. You will remember on our other platform, we've been talking about the people vice president, what's going on. So look, it's like it has shifted now to Cummings now. The Bwaka camp now, they're sleeping a little bit now. But what they are noting from one problem, there's always another problem. Bwaka had got his running mate all set, but the question now, they're not talking. So there will always be some problem.
Yes.
Now we're on Cummings now. Cummings were now his running mate. There will be some problem again there. Oh, that running mate there will not make him to win. Oh, there will always be something. So I think we just need to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, as Koto said the last time, everybody's working behind the scene. But this is election. And time is very crucial in election. You see. So they're working behind the scene. They will be working behind the scene until the next day for election. That's why I don't understand. So for Cummings, I think he has learned his lesson from Bwaka. So probably they're really calculating what to do. And I want to believe that they may be calculating from three angles. One, who can we get so that we create a scramble system in Nima County? Because Nima County is becoming to be an elephant meat now. We got to all go there and fight. So Sam Boakai have got a man. I strongly have the conviction that Kumi may have a lady. And putting, yes, Kumi having a lady will put CDC on the defense. Yes. And Nima County seems to be now a scramble ground. And the 6 counties seems to be another scramble ground now. So I'm sure Kumi is going to come with a lady. Who is that lady? I really don't know. Because of the political calculation. Yes. And that lady will be sent to the southeastern. If it is Yomli, the Basa people, their closest friend is the people in the southeastern. It's not the Vaha people. No, it's not the Gola people. It's not even the Pele people. The southeasterner, the closest friend they have is the Basa people. If you go there, you find a whole lot of them. So it's like they have discovered His Excellency President George Weah secret. So the southeastern country going to be a scramble ground, and Asho Kumi is going to bring up a woman. I get that conviction strongly. Looking at the political calculation on the ground.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. Most likely that might happen, but what I do also believe, because Kumi and his people, ANC, they're highly educated, and the mark for an educated person is someone who will look at stuff, learn from it, and see how best they can improve on it for the betterment of those that perhaps it might be affecting. And so, as you correctly stated here, that Baka most likely, Cummings is looking at Baka pick and the process itself, and perhaps say, okay, maybe I need to do X, Y, and Z because this is what people have been complaining about. So I need to tweak it a little bit to benefit my situation. That's one, for me, that's a mark of an educated person. Someone, you're not only doing it for the populations, but how do you do it so that the people will benefit immensely? And I don't see Cummings and his people coming out of it as being jealous as much as that, people tend to say, tend to suggest. So I think Cummings, one other thing that I believe will happen at this point, folks, I'm just speculating, and I'm very good at that. So take me to the cleanup. It doesn't matter here tonight. One other thing that I suspect will happen after Cummings and his people finish making a pick, the pick and Cummings and ANC will not shut up until the election time. They're not going to be running campaign because they know the rule has not been, would not allow them to run campaign, but they know how to get around it. They know what to do. They know how to continue to generate the excitement that will come out of that pick. And I also believe that when Cummings make that a pick, the excitement, whatever little it might be, or however big it is, they will try to maintain that. And the way they think they will maintain that is to have young people of the ANC to take the lead. They will follow Cummings, but they are not going to sidestep whatever comments Cummings is making. And I don't see that in Baka and his pick. The pick went on Spoon TV, did a wonderful job, and we have not seen any other major engagement. They don't have to go to the press, but major engagement, we have not seen that. So in fact, I don't know. I've been perusing the social media since I have not seen Ambassador Baka coming out to make some statement. He has, but I have not seen it. So I'm just saying that I think Cummings pick. I'm not too sure what kinds of excitement, whether the excitement is going to be negative or what have you. I don't know. But I think knowing and I believe the fact that Cummings has watched in the past a week or so with the pick of Ambassador Barker picking Senator Cohn and the kinds of excitement, whether negative or positive, that's not what I'm making a judgment on here, but just the process itself. Because I was on here and I'm still seeing the process itself. I was not too happy. And so the way now, things that I'm reading, things that I'm hearing about coming, engaging people who perhaps they believe they want to vet and things like that. But the engagement process, that these people will make those kinds of engagement process so public, so quickly. And then I think those that are being engaged in this process are not sincere themselves, because those are kinds of conversation that you don't go diversion out immediately once you're contacted, unless you're in it for publicity, which is not time yet. You cannot. And then let me just say this here. There's some incident that happened here in my own little Judea community some time ago. A young man was elected as Grand Judea Association president, general president, of course, and well, general. It's only one president. We don't have deputy or whatever. But anyway, he was elected president. He selected some young people to help him run the affair of the association. And one of the young men that was selected asked to join him. Decided to do some things that perhaps the president didn't think was in his interest. And he went and approached this young man to say, what's wrong with you? You think you're going to use my name to enrich yourself? Use me to be popular in the community? That ain't your time yet. And it became a big issue. So I was called. The young man called me and complained to me. And I simply told him that you can't dance on somebody else's day. Even if it is a birthday, let him open the floor, then you can dance. But you can't say that, man, birthday, let me open the floor. That they don't,
Yeah,
you don't
on his behalf.
Yeah, exactly. And so these people that you see running to the press or running to social media immediately when they get contacted, and they make it look like on news and things like that. Those are not people you want to have as your vice presidential running mate. These are not, they have no interest of helping you except to help themselves. So that would be my take on that. But let's move on. That I think Cummings pick, like you said. What you let me push you a little bit on this, because you seem to be suggesting that perhaps he might pick a lady. Pick what kinds of picking a lady, if he did that, what would be his what would be the benefit in picking a lady at this time? We have a woman president in Liberia. We currently have a woman vice president. So it's not like the women of Liberia has not been engaged. In fact, the late Mona Peno was like the king of Liberian politics, queen of Liberian politics, so to speak, because when she spoke, people listened. She was in command of the political activities in most of the area. And so it's not like Liberian women are being driven on the side and what have you. So what you think will be the benefit in coming selecting a woman here?
Well, before I address that, the first thing is that let us put Kumi into perspective. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, hello? You hearing me?
Yes, but when I do that, I want you alone to take the stage.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I want to put Kumi into perspective. Kumi is now one of the traditional politicians. He's running her politics in line with the Western concept of politics. That's one thing. So whosoever Kumi will pick must have almost 85% of his political characteristics. First thing, Kumi, he's the type of politician who tell you the facts. He's a straightforward politician. Like from a few of the clips I just saw you playing, it's like he talked about if he comes to power and you steal some money and ready to come to him to beg, oh, this is our son, he helped to put you in power, he stole, so please, he said he doesn't have time for that. If I were a senior advisor to Kumi, I will let you hold down on a few things. You know, in politics, like what Costa said the last time, men can't say all. You see, so there are certain things when you keep saying it, you may not get the people to vote for you. People will get scared. So I think Kumi is talking a little bit too much. Yeah, we can talk about corruption. You see, and when we win, then we can unfold the details of how we're going to handle corruption. But indeed, we will handle corruption. But the way Kumi is beginning to give some of these little details is something that will baffle and worry some people who want to vote for him. Because it's like the Liberian people now used to the type of politics where I say, okay, Liberal Samson, when I get to power, even though you're working with me, you're helping me to go to the executive mansion. And if you steal 1 cent, I'll make sure your people will not go to Ghana. They're going to stay here. I'm going to see that you host there. It's not going to go. And make sure the court will see to it that you go to jail and you're going to pay every peso. That's a very good thing. But when you start seeing those type of things at that particular time, then you tend to scare away now some people. So this is where Kumi a little bit different than the traditional politicians on the ground.
Yeah, but let me push back on that.
But to address your question about the type of characteristic of the VP, Kumi will want to take a VP who is educated. Kumi will want to take a VP who has the managerial skills that can read between lines and will help him to buttress his goal and his political objective. And Kumi will want somebody that he can use to jam the incumbent CDC in every sector of the campaign that can speak the language. Kumi will want those kind of people. Kumi will want such a lady. Because if Kumi flip the other way around, he go in for a gentleman. That's a win for CDC. So if we have one woman into the whole playboard of the opposition, then it's CDC vice president now versus ANC vice president. Then in between there, Joseph Boakai can pick up some little crumbs for himself. Yes.
So fine analysis. And folks, this is Samson to LIBERIAN Public Radio. I'm here this evening with Jones, Otavio Malice. Of course, he's here with us as well. I call him the soon-to-be PhD. And that's my opinion. I mean, title to it, no matter what Alfonso says. But anyhow, let me ask you this. Why I do agree with you that your analysis is on point, but I also believe, though, just to differ a little bit because I'm a liberal. Why I agree with you, though, but let me step aside on few other things. If Kumi does that, if he picks a woman, which I hope he would do, but that person cannot be a diaspora woman. That person cannot be someone who been in America for almost so many years, just as Samson told. That will not work. Then when I leave from there, I go to Totem, then I say I told them, and then when they're ready, they say, you're not even part of us again. What you want anyway? They told me that when I was fighting over my land, my father's land. They told me, why am I even talking about it? I'm not even part of that anymore. Kumi must pick someone, not only the person that will understand the language of the everyday Liberian people, but someone who also have been in the trenches of Liberian lives. You cannot pick somebody who throughout their life, they went to CWA or criteria, they went to LU or Cottington. Then from there, they even go to Ghana. They come straight to the United States to get their master and double PhD, whatever it is. And then you say that's the person you want to come and be the VP of the Republic of Liberia. Those days are over. Okay. You want to pick somebody that perhaps went to Tottenham High, that perhaps went to Montella Nippo High School, that perhaps went to LU, that show, or even Cottington, and make their way through like Ghana or other places to get their master, and then come here to do 1 or 2 and then go back. So you want to have somebody, if that person themselves or herself or himself will never fully involved into daily, everyday Liberian life, but that person's father or their mother must be one of those that was involved in terms of Liberian market with me or Liberian marketing situation where they're being able to work and support their family, and that person should use that opportunity to brag on it. But if you bring somebody who left Liberia when they were 16, 17 years old, just like this man now, and then you go back there, the person, when they open their mouth to talk so Siri coming up, forget it. You're going nowhere. And don't bring any of those recycled politicians, people who started working in Liberian government since the interim government. You bring that kind of person up because you think that person will be able to help you with money and what have you. That person ill-gotten money will not help you. So I think those are the kinds of places those who are vetting these politicians or who want to be VP, those who are vetting, they need to look into it and make sure the person is genuine. The person is genuine. And I think once that happens, then perhaps people like me will try to somehow sweep under the rug the fact that Kumi is not connected, which has been my song throughout. But let me just say this here, Mr. Emma George, I haven't seen you yet. You got to come and join us. But let me just say this here, that so the Wakai people and Wakai situation right now, if they don't take the initiative and come and make that selection, and the selection process and the selection bring in so much enthusiasm from the Liberian people to say, wow, Kumi surprised us. That's not what we were thinking. Then I think Baka and Senator Cone would have been, has been. Oh, they were, yeah, then now it becomes a serious competition. Right now, I don't see Unity Party with a clear message, talking point that the surrogates will carry on. I don't see it. I've not seen it. You go on Spoon TV when these people ready to talk, they from Unity Party, they're not even on the same page. So I thought at this time, the fact that Ambassador Baka is so experienced, I thought by this time he would have at least used that experience to gain some sort of a foothold, to gain some sort of a leverage in this process. But I'm not seeing it. What say you, sir?
Well, I think I will agree with you, because you know.
Doc, let me bring in Emon Joyce here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I brought him from a cocoon. You're getting ready to lay down and use a conservative eyeball to be watching us. No. Come in and join us. Thank you, Mr. George. Thanks for joining us, and I will appreciate it.
How you doing, Mr. Two? How you doing, Molly, my brother?
How are you, Mr. George?
So go ahead. Go ahead. I'll finish your
Yeah.
point.
So as I was saying, let's start with, to be frank with you, I have two formidable names on my radar right now. I have this lady, they call Lima Bowie. Lima Bowie and Yombli Kanga. But let's start with Yombli Kanga. Yombli Kanga, she's a mover. She and I worked with LPRC. I know her very well. She's a mover. She connected a lot. She can break through walls. She's very knowledgeable about the terrain. And the criteria you just lay about people being in the system, understanding the system, and not living here and going by with all the cereal all in their teeth and other things. She's far from that. She can really connect, especially with the marketeers. I trust her on that. And she can make the difference. But here is my other thought on my radar. I have the lady Lima Bowie. But Lima Bowie, since she got her how do you call it stuff?
Nobel Peace Prize.
Her Peace Prize. She has been completely disconnected from the ordinary women in Liberia. I even wrote several articles. I don't see them talking about rape. I don't, a whole lot of things they don't talk about. But I see her completely disconnected. And I have got some unconfirmed report that she have even shifted all her assets to Ghana, and she feels that Ghana is safe for her and her people. Then that now take me to the era of patriotism for your country, and if you want to run to contribute to the political process. So that complete disconnect there. So she even out of my favorite group right now. Okay, but that's why I wanted to say, Libera. Let's just say by assumption, Kumi pick someone else than Yombli. That's a double blow to her. The two top dogs will let her go. But here is the problem. If they let her go, she will be the cause for Joya to win. She will be annoyed with Boakai and annoyed with ANC. Then she might likely tell people, well, I think let we just go for his second round. And that could be 3 times devastating for ANC, I mean for Boakai, then ANC. Yes. So to screw that up and to close that gap, if one of them carry her, then CDC will have to scrum, will have to fight its way out. But if you let her go, and for some reason she come on the attack, Boakai will be devastated. She come on the attack, Boakai will feed her more than ANC. Because Boakai now picking her up, it seems to be it really got to her bone. And it got, everybody want to be Boakai says because he's an old man. He might not even complete his first term. So everybody is coming now to be president directly or indirectly going with Boakai. Unlike Kumi, that's a 50-50 chance. Kumi going all the way to the year 80 or 78. So he's not getting out of the scene right now. So by virtue of the whole arrangement, I think Kumi is younger. You see?
Yeah.
So okay. I think Yombli is my only best bet now. But if they don't pick Yombli, they pick a man, I'm telling you, Yombli will cause problem for the two of them in the election. And in the end, Joya will pick up the votes. And that how the incumbent will succeed himself.
Okay. Mr. Josh?
Yeah.
I know you've been watching.
Yeah.
What will be your contribution then?
Let me say this. I think destiny should be two-way streets. Suppose you approach Yombli. Let me do the hypothetical. Suppose the ANC approach Yombli and Yombli say, well, I don't want to go on the ticket.
Can you blame the ANC for that? No. So it's two-way street. Maybe the ANC might approach Yomi might say, no, I'm not interested. Or maybe for some kind of reason, I'm not interested. So you're now forcing Yomi for that. Okay? So it's not just one way that if they don't pick her, well, Honorable Baka was clear. And you know, the liberal always say that the stabilizer that he referred to Honorable Baka as stabilizer, but I don't see the leadership in this man making decision. Let me take you back to something. I went to that interview they had with Spoon TV, and Jeremiah Cohn mentioned something that caught my attention, that turned to make me to ask the leadership ability of Honorable Boakai. He said, Honorable Boakai called he and Yomli Kanga and told them, I will pick one of you people. My hair went up. What kind of political operator would do that? Boakai just got a 43-year on his belt as an experienced man. You are in the position to nominate someone to run with you. You call two persons and say that two of you, I will pick one of you. That conversation should be one-to-one on with these people. If you meet come here, I'm looking at Darcy. Let me look at your profile. If you go and meet Madam Yomi Kanga separately. Madam Yomi, I'm looking at your profile. Those you talk to them separately. You don't call us in one room to say among the two of you, I will pick one of you people. What job you saw, even let's go to the job. That you went for some job or 3, 4 the interview. If you're two, that person, maybe the person they say, hey, I will we're looking at your resume or other thing, and maybe there are other people who are looking at, maybe there are 2, 3 persons who are looking at your resume and we'll get back to you. They will not call you to people in the room and say that 2 of you were looking at. What is the experience there? What is the experience? Liberal, you tell me where you see that happening.
Okay.
And that you see, that's some of the bad blood between Joseph Boakai and the Yomli people, because he should not have done that. You talk to people separately. So if you make a decision, nobody will feel that, oh, this person maybe they throw in something that I couldn't provide. And then you went on to say, I was not on the train, I just came in the middle of it. That's Honorable Coon. I was not on the train, I was just probably in the middle of it. I was nowhere, I was not even thinking about it. That's why I say, in politics, sometimes you take decisions that you will get caught up in it. Because
Okay.
Benin, they all Costa have been standing with this man. And I said there was something he told them that gave them that courage to stick by him. And the decision made, the person that you picked said they were not even in the picture.
Okay. All I can say to that is the fact that, of course, you said you can't see it, and that's okay because you have a conservative eyes.
No, it's not conservative. You tell me what leadership would do that.
Mr. Central Right, Mr. You don't have no help here tonight.
No, give me a reference.
Mr. Central Right, you don't have no help here tonight. And the man who's helping your helper, he's not allowed on this show.
Don't have no help here.
Okay, well, I'm just saying he's not allowed on my show because if he comes in, we're gonna kick him out. So let me just say this. The fact that you can't see doesn't mean it's not happening. Now, on a very serious note, yes. Oh my goodness. What happened? Did you guys? Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wow. Something went poop me. Oh, some idiot I think I just heard somebody hitting a light pole here, but I can't go outside because I'm in the studio here. So, but I just heard in my light flicking. But anyway, that's besides the point. We're on air. That's good. But anyhow, the point that I'm making here, Mr. George, is this: if you're going to, because these are all two young people, and to call them to say, look, I'm going to pick one of you. So most likely he has looked at their resume, he has looked at their profile, and have already decided that he was going to pick one of them. Now, if he has not talked to any of them and just go ahead and pick, then it will be something which I thought what happened. But the way you're explaining it now, then I'm here to eat crow on that one because I've been accusing him. Because I've been accusing him. I've been accusing him of not talking to them. But the fact that you're saying that you
the two of you,
yeah, but you ANC top insider are telling me now, then I have to eat crow. And for that, folks, I'm eating crow on this one. Yes. So Ambassador Baka is quite correct. But anyhow, let me go on. Let me go on to make my other point. I think
moderator, before you get to your other point, I just wanted to make some little interjection to Mr. George issue of the ANC pick. He just used a word that it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not, because ANC is in need, is in desperate need of an appropriate vice president right now. So if it means that ANC will have to go to Bassa to back this woman, ANC will have to do it. ANC have got no option. Because the problem here is now we're talking about political calculation. We're not just talking about, okay, it can be anybody. No. It got to be, because it seems to be what I'm sensing now is like the VP seems to be a success factor now to most of the candidate. I think that's what I see here now. So ANC is not a two-way trip. ANC must go to Bassa if they want Yomile. They'll say Yomile say no. They got to back up to break the tie. That one. Two, it's not something ordinary. If ANC bring in a man now, that's going to be very devastating. And CDC will be so happy for that.
But let me tell you, let me go back.
Well, okay, go ahead, Mr. Josh.
In politics, if you ask somebody and they tell you, say, we can't make it, you can't go beyond that. What can you do?
In politics, you got to beg. There are so many things.
I don't know how long you will beg. How far?
No, it's like you need a woman to marry. You got to beg her. What are you talking about?
If the woman says she want, I don't care what, you can do that for nothing.
Okay, you can use other relatives. You can use other relatives to influence her.
Not only that, not only that, you put powder on yourself, you put cologne on, and you start dancing.
Very good.
And, you know.
And besides that, let me tell you something now. The VP is not. I think the VP, they are not a success factor in the political race. But the war has begun in Nima County between Councillor Gongolo and Jeremiah Kun already. Gongolo is informing us in Nima County that Jeremiah Kun said he's going to work towards the economic crown code, and it's a lie. He's deceiving the people of Nima County. So the war has already begun in Nima County already.
But anyway, let me make my point here. I think Molly's made a good point here by invoking this lady. What's her name again?
Lima Boy.
Lima Boy. I think Lima Boy need to get off the fence line. When she was asked some time ago to be the keynote speaker of, I think, on Liberian birthday or something like that, and she made a beautiful, beautiful statement.
Yes.
She's not naive.
Since that time, she gone underground.
Right. She's not naive. She's been writing some articles and stuff that I've been reading.
She wrote last time that all the people approach her.
Right. But I think if she wants something good for her sisters, brothers, and mothers and father, which I believe she does, she's gonna get out of this fence line. She's recognized internationally. She's known internationally about her work in Liberia, how she has helped to bring the end, to bring the end to the war. But this time we're asking Liberians to get involved into politics to help move the Liberian unstable economy forward. And I think she needs to get off the fence line and join this whole whatever it is that we're trying to achieve here as one people. Now, let me go on. Let me go on to the next stuff here. And I think Mali just pushed that because that was going to be my next line. He just pushed that out. So we'll just jump on in here. How does it end? What will be the ending scenario for Jeremiah Cohn and that of Councillor Gonglo in Nima County? Two sons of Nima. One is seeking the higher office. The other one is already being selected to go on the second round. However, the person who had made the selection, many of us believe, not by death. I'm not a God to say who died and who doesn't know, but I'm saying strictly based on age and the physical demand that this office requires. So the physical demands that this office required in that country, I don't believe that anyone who is above certain age have the ability to allow themselves to be able to spend that kinds of physical means to be able to achieve what is needed to move that country forward. Now, having said that, so the fight here is this: the person who being selected to go second, it's also from Nima. But many Nimadians right now believing that the age factor giving them the legs up to have the second native president of the Republic of Liberia, true president of the Republic of Liberia, to be from Nima County. So, so how does this scenario for with Councillor Gonglo and that of Jeremiah Cohn, how does it end in Nima? Who do you think have the legs up in Nima on this one? Strictly Nima, not the entire country, just Nima.
Politics is tribal, it's local. So Nimarian have always said that they have second largest public candidate, while leadership cannot come from there. So maybe based on that, they all at the end of the day, they all coalesce around Jeremiah Cohn. But there's another factor because these are two different ethnic groups. Councillor Gonglo is from the Mano ethnic group, and Jeremiah is from the Gio group. With either one of them being able to unite the county based on that, you got the third is the Mandingo. So with either one of them, who will be able to put those people together?
Well, I understand what you're saying, Mr. George, but I think as smart and as educated as Nimadians are, to be honest with you, I don't think they're gonna go with the tribal sentiment on this. I think they all be a Gil or Mana. I think they have recognized that we want a president to represent this county, not a tribe. And I think let
me ask you.
But let me finish my point. You're central right people. You see, that's what happened to Tucker Carlson. And I think you and Mr. So here sooner.
But why you care? And why you care? All the 3 million viewers, fast not suffering.
Well, I mean, you think when you and Mr. So leave, you think help people will suffer? We're not suffer. Y'all carry 3 million. We're not going to suffer. But anyway, let me just say this here. No, seriously, let me say this. I think the Nima County and the educated Nimadians, and in fact, not educated Nimadians, they're also going to think that we want a representative in that office. And if you logically just look at it mathematically and look at the situation, you would think that Jeremiah Cohn have an easier path to the overall seat than that of Councillor Gonglo. So I think another thing, I don't think Councillor Gonglo going to go that low, but now to come out and make that statement as being referenced by Jones, where he, according to Jones, he's saying that Jeremiah Cohen is fooling them. He will not bring the war crime court. Many anybody most likely will not even want the war crime court anyway, because it's for them it will be very divisive. For them, it not so much of them being guilty. That's not my point. But same situation in Grand Gide. You can't bring a war crime court and say we're going to bring Grand Gideans here to discuss without igniting the firestorm, reigniting the firestorm.
Yeah.
That will come out of this. So I don't think any of us should touch that. And that's what I think somebody Cassidy was making that point day before yesterday on our show, where he said, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So what the heck is what's going on? Okay. All right. My what's my call? Okay. Anyway, we'll soon be leaving. But anyway, Cassidy made a point here yesterday, day before yesterday, to say everyone in Liberia, they will distance themselves from the war crime court, unless if it is Prince Johnson, then everybody wants war crime court. And this is quite true. When I look at, after he made that statement, I started reviewing some of my own comments. Every time that Prince Johnson name comes out or he come up with something, everybody want war crime court. But they want war crime court for him, not war crime court for our own people. Because it's going to be devastating if you bring war crime court in Liberia, and many Liberians, if they, unless, and I will bring some sort of a second thought onto that, and that is, unless those who have violated other people's rights, living rights, if they can come out and apologize, then the situation might be a little bit acceptable. But if they come out and do like Madame Salif did, wait till you read my book, then I think that the situation is going to be very, very much downside for us.
Let me
So
just
I
say
think I think Councillor Gonglo will do himself a favor and do us all of us a favor. Let's just stick to the issue. If Ambassador Walker win the election and they decide to bring the war crime court, I'm sure they will put in place some sort of a mechanism that will try to guide some guardrail that will guide the process so that it doesn't degenerate into any kinds of serious conflict in our country.
You know, let me before Marika, let me say something to you, liberal. This is in your line and you're threatening. You're threatening now that the war crime code, they don't when it comes to Prince John, when people become very vigorous or what have you. Because I see now the thing is closer, the ball had turned to you people now. So now you people try to downplay this thing now. Let me say this. It's not just people talk about Prince Johnson. Why is Prince Johnson named? Because Prince Johnson has been very vocal. I did not kill anybody. Those are his words. Other people have remained silent. Not that we're not advocating. Some are advocate for everybody, because except you people want to live in impunity. There's no way you will tell me people kill thousands of people and they must just walk away scot-free and boast. And someone said, oh, because it will take them trouble will come. But what's about us, including you, were affected? Have they apologized? Has they taken responsibility? No. I always say this. I can forgive someone when you take responsibility of your action. But when you become adamant and say, I didn't do it, you can do anything, then what condition would I use to forgive you? Impunity should not be anything in Liberia, because it's the same thing Mr. Cummings mentioned about. We continue to do this, and oh, that man, he really the person, oh, that person. No. They were, some people committed, and they are not taking one responsibility, and they continue to die one. They are not taking one responsibility of what they did. So for me, Councilor Gongo is right. This is another right trade, because we saw it from George Weah when he told the Liberian people that anybody that wasted Liberian blood will be held accountable when I become president. And when he became president, what he told us, you want development or walk around code. Those are his words to us. You want development or walk around code. But when you are running, you told us this is something you're going to do. So it's the same thing again. I would say Jeremiah Cohn is seeing, giving his proximity to Mr. Johnson. Okay, so the point here is, water Grandinia will be divided, but those who went after other people ready in Grandinia who had nothing to do with the war and massacred them, why they should not be accountable for it? Why? Is it because the country will be divided, or the country will be divided? But what have you done to unite the country? Say you don't want the war crime code. What have you done to unite the country? What have you done to unite the people? So we should not narrow this into only Prince Johnson. No, Mr. Kessler is speaking because now Prince Johnson is in the corner. This is what happened. That's what we do. When people come to our corner, then we start putting our defense for them. But when they are not with us, we describe them, we call them other names. And this is exactly your liberal or the Unity Party now is pushing. Oh, when it comes to Prince Johnson, people become very, very eager about walking around and go, no. Someone also said, they let Alhaji Kuma, someone used to call her name. Now, these people were part of the problem. Let it go to court. If they vindicated, fine. But when they said they didn't do nothing, how can someone say they didn't do nothing, then you say, I will forgive you? This is the problem. And let me just close on it before my agent come in. This country thing has not done you any good. I heard you saying that will be the second additional native president. What the native president has done so much, the first one, what they did, or what they're doing for us. I think we should be talking about people who are competent and capable to lead a country. Let's put that native or Congo thing down. Because the native man will not, he'll do worse than the other people you're accusing or you don't look at. So let us base on our thing on competent capability and leadership to lead a country.
Are you gone? Well, the cartel here, you're not playing with you tonight. I was just watching you. I was just about ready to pick up my cartel. That your conservative, you and Mr. Alfonso Zionso, that your conservative thing you're doing? Okay, folks, you have the cartel here. Oh, Ibai. I was going to bring my cartel. Go ahead, make your point.
No, I submit.
Okay, thank you, Miles. Go ahead, so I can put a number up to see if anybody want to call us here tonight.
Yes, I think the both of you have got some valid points. But here is my disappointment. You know, this TRC thing, the appetite for the TRC was very high when Helen Johnson came to power. And so the international community was very ready to sponsor this thing. But it's like directly or indirectly, Her Excellency, the former president, saw her shadow in this war thing. And she decided to throw in a monkey wrench into the Supreme Court that stabbed the TRC in the back. There where Kabina Jani was so overactive to handle that case because he was also in the picture. And in a TRC, they say whosoever directly or indirectly might have sponsored the Liberian Civil War will fund or asking for fund or generating fund will not take part in the Liberian Civil War. I mean, will not take part in politics for 10 years. Helen Johnson said he was in that category. And Helen Johnson was desperate to become president. She cannot implement the TRC at the same time be president. So she had to do something. there where the TRC-Z went away since that day. All right. But what I want to suggest here now is we need to revisit the TRC, because that term, War Crime Tribunal, I think it's creating tension in the population. We need to rephrase that thing there and have a different look about peace and justice in Liberia. That will get all the same results.
Let me ask both of you. I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me ask. But this is for me is important now that we're having this kind of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
What type of war crime code would you guys want? Punitive? I mean, punishment or restorative? What type would you prefer?
I prefer punishment.
Yeah, we go. Because you used to be the old policeman. Yeah, you not can't get tonight.
People must pay for their crime.
Look at that. Okay, that's your opinion, Mr.
Yes,
Jones.
I agree with Mr. George, but that would have been very active and emotion when Helen started her government. That would have worked. But now I notice there too much sympathy have entered the corridor of the TRC to the point where punishing people now, if you want to use it as part of your political message for your campaign, it creates it will lift eyebrows all over the place. All right. But the question now is, if the new government come to power, be it Joseph Boakai or ANC, let's forget about George Weah. He already made a position clear. Set up another commission, let the people review the TRC and recommend to the government, what do we really want? That's where I will come from as a president.
Okay, for me,
let me put a point to you. Ellen, we all knew the role and we know what he did. But just last year, a lady who is, I think, the chairman on war crime or what from the US visited Liberia. And she was on radio. She made it emphatically clear that every resources this country needs to try these people, we are willing to provide it. So there should be no excuse. She was live press conference. Last year she was in Liberia. There should be no excuse for somebody to say, oh, the insecurity of to try these people. She was there last year, represented it.
Okay.
So
all right.
So there should be no excuse by the people. But what
Mr. Moderator.
Yeah.
What Joy is saying is very important, but here is the issue. The way we live, that woman she doesn't understand our traditional living condition. Yeah, she doesn't understand our own insecurity county by county. So they will say one thing, but the implementation it depends on us. Because when fire blazes in Liberia, that woman is going to be sleeping in a hotel and eating chocolate while we're fighting.
With the laborer.
No. So when they suggest these things, they are good things. But we need to think twice and send it to the others to digest this thing. Because it's been a long time now since let me
just say this here to
child soldiers. The child soldiers, they are all adults right now.
Okay, and let me just say this, since I'm going to be one of the others in the room when they bring this to me, my own thing is let us try our best to restore instead of punishing. I say restoration. But anyway, let me put a number. Let me put a number out.
Mali, you cannot have it both ways. If you seen, oh, it's been long, this and that. Today they still trying Nazi criminals. Today. They still trying Nazi criminals.
I agree.
So,
but Mr. George, you're going to have to understand. Before you go. All right, go ahead.
Liberia is the only country that when it comes, we are exceptional. Salon did anything right. Salon did it. But only when it comes to Liberia, we become sort of exceptional. Listen, oh, we are this kind of group. We are this kind of group. The point here, we have to stop these things. People who committed the crime and the people who are asking, oh, it's been a long time. There are people directly or indirectly were beneficiary of some of these crimes, who relative or some friend of them was involved, and they are benefiting politically and economically. So when I hear Porto Cante, I said, no, we have to start this thing here. Because if you've seen it, where is the president you're second? So tomorrow, one John Brown here, you're going to go again and start shooting people because he dissatisfied with government. This is what we're talking about.
So the point that I'm making,
yeah.
the point that I'm making, Mr. George, is this: when you talk about the other, besides Sierra Leone, the other countries, are you sure? Are we ready, Liberians? Are we sophisticated enough to be able to look at those kinds of issues and truly go through months in, months out, having people going to the court and need people being brought out without any spectators booing and insulting and saying things or throwing rocks and all the kinds of stuff? Do we have the ability?
Well, it's not about do we have the ability. Let me just tell you something.
But Joel, let me come in. You know why the TRC succeeded in Sierra Leone? That was a secret.
I don't know.
When the president took over, the time he took over and the TRC started moving at the same time, and he was not factored into his war. We had a president whose shadow was also in the war. There was no way she would have implemented the TRC.
So if that excuse,
I come in. Let me learn. Now we're comparing ourselves to other people. In the West, the poor believe in law and order, no family business. They enforce the law to the bone, no matter who you are. In Liberia, we enforce in Liberia, we run our politics with human face, with passion, with culture, with connection. That what happened in Africa. So we don't have law and order in Liberia where I say, okay, Mr. Samson, you did this thing, you are going to go to Bele Yara. This guy tried this thing here. What his name? The late Torba. Torba hanged no people in Maryland. He was coming from the Western background or how he approached things. Those are some of the things that even added to his downfall. All right. So what I'm saying here is that we need to review the TRC. I don't say it should go away, but we should review it. Whether we should even call it that name, the TRC. Punishment will be there, but that war crime thing, I think we need to set it back. Let the 16 countries really meet and review the thing, because the thing has been stabbed in the back. So firstly, the second thing here is another complication. The TRC was crafted in such a way that it goes to the president. The president sends it to Parliament. Parliament vote over it. And it goes back to the president. For the president to approve of it before it go into motion. And you have a lot of warlords sitting in our house there. Who are going to pass that thing in the first place?
So let me ask both of you.
Let me just say something here. What you're saying, it appears that because if something stays long, so it doesn't mean it cannot be tried
for Africa.
For Africa,
yes,
that is a belief.
But in the West, it's possible.
And I tend to say this because of people connection to these people. It's not that they are not laws.
All right, guys, let me take this call. Samson told LIBERIAN Public Radio, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
How you doing, Mr. Toll? It's Elvis calling from Minnesota.
Oh, Elvis, good ening. Thank you very much for joining us. We got TRC. We have the upcoming pick. Baka and his people are not talking much. We don't hear anything. So those are the things that was on the table. What's on your mind? Which one you want to contribute to? And we'll be ready to listen.
I will contribute to the TRC and Baka and the Cummings people.
Okay.
Quickly to the whole TRC situation, I think. Oh, and let me say hello to Pat George and Mr. Valley Jones. I want to say quickly, when we talk about the whole TRC thing, we always mention Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. For those people who think that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was the best thing that happened to Liberia post-war, I think we have to revisit it, kind of overtalk this whole situation ad nauseum. The reality is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf missed the opportunity to help rebuild the country. You remember that woman said we should, break down Monrovia, flatten level Monrovia. She will build it back in 3 days.
Yes.
She had 12 years to build it back. She built it back.
No.
So when people always try to criticize this president who has had minimum international intervention in terms of resources, who have had minimum international connections, people say that's his fault. He's not well connected. Fine, but compare that to what Ellen had in that country, Mr. Toe and Pa George and Mr. Malley. What did she do? What did she show for it? This lady had 3 of her sons working in government in top position, in sensitive positions in the government. She admitted herself that she had a nepotistic government. This lady's son, most people don't know this. I'll just give you a little nugget. Her son, Robert Salih, worked for the bank called Wachovia.
I know that here in Sacramento.
They bankrupt that company. How? Because they were dealing with the cartels, the Mexican cartels. And the United States government fined them and they went bankrupt. And Robert Salih took $30 million as a parachute. He was one of the youngest executives for that bank. The guy's inherently corrupt. It goes down in the entire family. So when people try to compare Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, yes, she's sophisticated, she's educated, she can hide her corruption more, succinctly, so we can see it for the common man who don't have eyes to see, will not see it. But she's diabolically corrupt. So when we talk about the TRC, it was dead on arrival. And I heard other people talking on other platforms they shouldn't have implemented her because if they implement her, then it will not get implemented. All type of nonsense. The reality is that's one of the most evil people we have in our country is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She didn't go kill people on the beach. She didn't take never call anybody here. But when they talk about her supporting child stealer, people say, oh, she only get 10,000. The main contribution that she gave was her international influence for child stealer. To sell him to her international partner that this is the guy who can liberate my country. Let's put support behind him. That was the most support that she gave child stealer and the most diabolical support that she gave him. But quickly to talk about the ANC people, let me just get to that point, Mr. Toe. The reality is, for some of us who like Cummings and still admire him, some of us who live in America, working public, who work corporate America, and we know how hard it is to get to the point that he got to. He had to be a very smart and cunning man to get to that level. That's fine. But all politics is local. This guy sit there, take jets and go to board meetings and board of director meetings and running part-time politics in Liberia. That's why he's not moving the needle any inch. He's not moving it. So for me, I think Cummings is setting himself up for 2029. I think he will be very formidable, and I think George will agree with me on this point. Perhaps not. He'll be very formidable in 2029. But right now, there's the writing on the wall in Babylon. Even a blind man can see visible here writing on the wall to say 2023 is not your time. Cummings, wait for 2029. That the writing on the wall. I will leave it there. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you. Ambrose, you are calling, but we have Evan was on the line, so give us a call.
Let me just make some clarity, Mr. Toe.
Yeah, go ahead.
He mentioned Sirleaf name about Wachovia. He said they bankrupt the country. If you live in Elvis, can you tell me now what a Sirleaf was?
He lives in Elvis lives in Minnesota.
Now I know, but I want to know from him, was Sirleaf ever charged?
No, they never. The Wachovia just went down.
Yeah, but why would you accuse this man?
Okay, all right. Let me, poor man lawyer. Let me take the inquiry.
No.
Please.
It's not poor man. You can't make statement like that and say.
Okay, Samson told LIBERIAN Public. You know, Mr. Judge, on this platform, everybody speak. They speak their mind, and
I'm just asking.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can't just post that.
Go ahead, Ambrose. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Toe, how you doing?
Not bad. Evans, I will take your call back. Let Ambrose finish. You will take your call again. Go ahead, Ambrose.
Yeah. Mr. Toe, how you doing? Pa George and Mr. Jones, how you doing?
Thank you.
My brother. Yeah, I was just going to talk about the war crime code because I think the war crime code is, I was not in Liberia because I left Liberia almost 20 years ago, but it said that they have tampered with the list. He took some names then off the list. I think some of his friends then that was serving him disagreed that while they took the names then out. So if we really want to be fair, whoever, all those that committed crime in Liberia, we should bring everybody to book because we can't be cherry picking. And we just say, oh, we want to go for the top door, or people then their name was highlighted or we knew about them. That's the only people we can bring to the war crime. Will not be fair. Because, like, for instance, Chasser is the only one, that's why they say it's Sierra Leone, but he's the only one suffering from the whole tragedy that went in Liberia, happening in Liberia. Alaji Toma died on his own. We get Joe Bully then, we get Cap Fala then, we get Bob Nicano, we got so many people there, down to Saboli, all of them running free in Liberia there, or Charles Bryden. So, or Daniel Chia then. But what I learned was that list was temporary, and people then, names then that was there, they took them out. So, I don't know how we can have it right now when we exclude certain people, only certain people want to go after.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Elvis, you were calling back. You want to do that? Go ahead, Mr. George. You were making your point.
Yes, and no, I was trying to tell you that. Elvis said because Charles Salif or whoever worked in the bank went.
Robert Salif.
Robert said the bank went, or they went bankrupt, and he walked away $30 million, what have you. So they were part of the corporate. And I want to know from him what Robert said ever charged. The bank has a board of directors, they have presidents. So because I work for an institution and something bad happened to the institution, so you want to hold me? Was he the one that made cutting the shots?
Let me take Evers. Maybe he can.
So we have to be very clear on the scene. This
okay, Evers, are you there?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Joe.
Can you give us
back just to clarify?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
If I Josh, my clarification to your point. The Wachovia Bank, along with HSBC, the Chinese bank, they were both indicted for money laundering for the Mexican cartel from Sinaloa. Robert Salif was an executive for Wachovia Bank. People, if you read the history, if you read it, the thing that happened to that bank, you're a red man. You can read by George. You can read it.
I just want to ask you,
but George, get a mention. Let you explain now.
Bankruptcy is not always a criminal act, Mr. Pat George. Even me, you and myself, we can file personal bankruptcy. So when we say what bankrupted the bank was not the criminal act, but the fine that the American government levied against them because of that money laundering act that they were doing for the Mexican cartel. That's what put them under. They couldn't pay the fine and continue to run the bank, so they had to go under.
You're not answering my question.
We can't even fasting in America now. I think
no, you're not answering the question.
Go back to Liberia.
I'm not hearing you too well.
Speak up, Pat George, please.
No, my question here is, was he charged because you said they were corrupt? Was he charged by the United States government or the bank or the Fed? Was he charged?
Mr. Pat George, are you telling me it's not a criminal act to do money for drug deal to invest money to launder money to your organization for drug cartel?
Elvis,
money laundering is a criminal act.
No, he wants to know whether Robert Salif was charged personally.
Because you said you were one of the executives.
You're more sophisticated than that to know that people hide behind corporation because they're not a human being. So you can say my business went bankrupt. Donald Trump used the same thing. He said my businesses went bankrupt, but I didn't go personally bankrupt. So people can hide behind it. So no, he wasn't personally charged. But the organization that he was an executive on.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Elvis. Appreciate it. So, Mr. Judge is saying Salif was not personally charged, but he was.
So why you say he's corrupt? You see, this is the same.
No, Mr. George.
This is the same thing when the people talk about George Weah, they come in defense of George Weah.
Mr. George.
There have been nobody trying. But
I know
if this man is working in an institution, the institution won't bankrupt. And you said they were involved in money laundering, cartel, and he was never charged. How can you say this man is a criminal?
So Mr. Man. George, let me ask you this. So what?
I have a question for you, Mr. George. Can we say on this platform emphatically that George Weah is not corrupt? Because no court has come out to say George Weah is corrupt.
Everything I say, that is an allegation.
Okay, good. Can we also come on the platform and say that George Weah government is corrupt?
Mali.
No,
it's a question. Listen, Mali. If you say George Weah government is corrupt,
yes,
it is just an allegation.
Okay, very good. So when you get involved in money laundering,
yes,
that's not corruption until the court find you guilty.
Fine.
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
Mali, okay, let me ask you now. So you understand, Mali?
No, I rest my case.
No, you ask a question and answer. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
That because on the allegation, Does that mean that you are committed a crime?
From our African setting.
Mali, don't go there with an African setting. That is the thing I don't like.
You're not certified. Mali, you're not certified.
I'm laying a premise.
No, don't lay that premise because that's why you don't
lay it because the conservative they want you to answer the way they want you to answer.
Because you're meant to say that the African people, there's nothing good can come from other Africa, or there's no African person good. Everything African setting. No, there are some good people in Africa.
But Joe, you already answered my question.
Yeah, but I answered a question, and I asked you a question, and you said you want to go to Africa.
No, I want to set the premise to answer my question. You said no.
But what? Go ahead. We'll set the premise.
Very good. From our social, economic, and political culture in Africa, when you avoid money laundering, directly we accuse you of corruption. If you took money, if you just came to the presidency, like George Weah did, in less than 2 weeks, you break a house down, you get a duplex going up. In Africa, we say that corruption. No code being involved. So if the ANC is coming to power and want to promote law and order in a way that when this thing happens, the court should have a decision on it to come up with a verdict, okay, fine. That's another way we can run the system. But in Africa, that what can happen. Okay, let the guys, I come in now, let the guys spoon. The spoon boss man. They say it was a lie with the whole thing, this and that. In Africa, they say the man is morally corrupt. He was fixing degree, no verdict yet. And we all said it on the platform. So now you're changing your tune and say,
no, I'm not changing my tune. No. Mali, don't go there. Don't go there with me. I'm not changing my tune. I use the word alleged. Alleged is something someone is guilty.
All right, let's do this, folks.
I accept your explanation.
Okay. All right. Let Mali, you got 1 or 2 minutes to close it for us. Go ahead.
Okay. My 1 or 2 minutes, I'm closing there on my premise again. In Liberia, that I know about very well, when something happened, when Helen Johnson Sally son went to court, the people say, oh, the mango in the core or empower him or empower and they screw the whole thing. And Helen Johnson said it on the platform, on one of the platforms, that the court did not find my son guilty. So my son is not corrupt. But you know where we come from in Africa, specifically in Liberia. When nothing happened, quickly we joined the gun. We say, oh, that person is corrupt. Oh, the 3 officials that we are there kicked them out of their government. It was alleged. But if you go in Liberia now, there's, oh, don't corrupt people. Oh, don't corrupt people. So what I'm saying, we tend to invoke jungle justice in Liberia and conclude on people that they are corrupt. And that how the system is, that the background I was coming from. But there is no code to say that the people, these people, they are guilty or whosoever. In the West, it is alleged until the court find you guilty. But in Liberia, like when Opon traveled the last time, he went to a football play, he went to see his son, he went this and that. The first thing they put say, oh, you owe our money. They made it very correct. You see how you're using our money? So what I'm saying, the premise I'm living here is that kind of background will come from our politics in Liberia. So that's where I'm coming from.
Thank you.
Okay. And I think, Mr. Mali, you should help to educate the Liberian public.
Is that going to be your closing?
Yes.
Oh, no. But Joy, I'm also affected by that virus. So I don't know how it change.
Yeah.
Mr. Josh, you're closing now, right?
Yeah, I'm closing.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying, Mr. Mali, you should help because there's a difference between allegation and crime.
I agree.
So we have to continue to tell our people. It's not because you see somebody doing that, oh, the person has committed a crime. No. An allegation is different from that of a crime. So we have to continue to speak to our people to know the differences. And you see, I tend to agree, in Liberia, in the setting, but it doesn't mean that is stand up. Not because people seeing it and you say it's right. No. We have to tell people not because everybody sees. No. It's not right because everybody talking it. We should tell
when you are caught red-handed in money laundering,
yeah,
it's not corruption until the court say it.
Mali, let me tell you today.
Let Mr.
Let me
George
tell you,
close
Mali,
now.
today.
Go ahead, Mr. George, give your
Nobody.
closing.
Mali,
Mr. George, give your closing.
But Mali, yeah, I come to close. Mali,
Yeah.
you can see someone take gun and shoot somebody in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
They are not yet a murderer. They have to go through the judicial system, the court, the criminal justice system.
That's a Western concept. That's a Western
That's why you
concept.
saw that man.
Mr. June, let him close.
Yes. So
Go ahead.
that's why you saw that man, or you witnessed the commission of that crime. That person still is innocent until they go through the criminal justice system.
But we're not used to that.
Oh, Mr. Jones. Okay.
I just closed it. But you're not used to that. But that
All
is
right, okay, Mr. George, I think your 2 minutes are over.
Thank you, Mr. Liberal.
So, like I said, you got nobody to help you here tonight. So,
well, maybe you have managed a gang up upon me, but I can still stretch my muscle, flex my muscle.
Mr. George, thank you. Mr. Jones, thank you, guys.
Right.
Let's meet here tomorrow.
Yeah,
and have a conversation with Mr. So, who will help us again to get some things going.
yeah.
So I'll say good night to all of you. Mr. Jones, thank you very much for coming tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Again, folks, Samson told LIBERIAN Public Radio, spirited debate here tonight. This is what we do here on LIBERIAN Public Radio. We have information and people listen to this. You come in at the end of a conversation. We've been out here going to 2 hours. And then you're going to come and make a statement like that. Then who are you? Who are you? Who are you in an intellectual forum such as this, where you have two gentlemen, three of us, having a spirited debate, disagreeing vehemently, but we have not insulted each other. We're not being disrespectful in our engagement process. But you're going to come here now and make a statement like that. Then who are you? But anyway, let's move on. I want to thank all of you again tonight for tuning in to LIBERIAN Public Radio. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. Tomorrow night, we'll be here with Mr. Soul, and we'll be having some serious conversation as well, like we just did here tonight. Well, let me just say this here quickly. To many of you that continue to watch, you are the pillar of what we do. Besides God, you're next. And also, the fact that you have many, many things you need to do and you should have been doing, but yet still, through your respect for us, you tune into us. Through the fact that you believe in what we're saying, not necessarily agreeing with us, but the fact that you like us to have these kinds of debate among ourselves. And maybe when we open a line, you guys come in and give your contribution. And because of that, we come on, you come and watch with us. We want to thank you. We want to thank you. It is because of that even if we're tired, we still come on. Because we know you guys are expecting us to be up here. But there'll be some time that perhaps tiredness and everything else might not be able to carry on. But yet still, you follow. Thank you. Only God that is giving you the strength to follow us. Lastly, let us continue to pray for one another every day. Every day. And in this upcoming election, one thing I want to make clear, we are not enemies. Many of us come to these kinds of conversations not because of hate. Yes, I mean, we're all human beings. We have some instances of being jealous. We have some feelings of taking the disagreement to the next level. We all do that. But we must be able to compartmentalize those feelings when it comes to national discussion. Pick them up when there's appropriate time. Besides that, you keep focused. This election that is coming up, it is not about hate. Because if we reduce this election the conversation about the upcoming election, if we reduce it strictly based on hate, then my opinion, we are not quite ready for democracy. Because I believe democracy is a process, messy process. But those of us that are going to be involved in the discussion must recognize that it's a messy process. At the same time, the process itself must be respected because it's an idea. And I don't want to go pulling in the barracks, those dead language. They will be disrespectful. But it's an idea that anybody can call the bluff. Any one of us can call the bluff. And it happened before in Liberia. Liberian called the bluff of democracy and desired to challenge the system. And we saw what it took us. We have experience for that. And so I'm saying to all of you, let's respect one another. Let us agree to disagree, as many Liberians would say. If we just make that mistake of disrespecting each other, then we're going nowhere. You will not be able to understand me. I will not be able to understand you because I would have already shut you down in my mind that everything else you're saying doesn't matter because I don't respect you. And if I don't respect you, I most likely don't respect your opinion. Not only do I disagree with your opinion, but if I don't respect it, I will not even recognize it as being part of the system or voice involved in moving the conversation forward. And this, my brothers and sisters, I thought we'd try to slow down. Let's engage. We can be passionate about our engagement. But just remember who you're talking to. It's a human being just like yourself. It's a brother, it's a sister, it's your mother, it's your father. And you're discussing ideas. I'm not asking you to divorce your emotion from those kinds of engagement. Far from it. I expect you to be emotional. But you must have the ability to compartmentalize. You must have the ability to control the emotion. Because emotions can take you, I believe, take you places that you're not going to come on top. So I just say to all of you, thank you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. And let's continue to pray for one another. Samson told Liberian Public Radio. I say good night.
Du blé hein, le cabas bayo la moi sur abilo, ya américain pas l'eau. Ici au Tiziwema, encore une autre fidèle qui. L'Américain pas l'eau que yo. Quand il y a Sylvie, il a quoi qui, j'ai loupé presse. L'Américain pas l'eau que t'as bien de moi avec moi une. En ce moment, on va battre au moins néo. On t'a dit à mon mouillé, on s'est abattu pour moi dit toi. Tu vois, avec la local yo. Quand on soit du là, allez, à voyer, battu au là, et à haut, avec la local yo, mi vito jogbai, mi vito nomba, matissimo yo. Manager Gigi, ouais, peut jamais forcer. Si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco, il y a 5 de Toyebli. L'homme a tout fait pour Mivito. Aniché les vœux. Bon, nous doit dire, pas dire, moi, conseiller, c'est moi, dis-moi. Anu yo bebe, wete ye moto anu bati yo. Mona dada be yo, well lo kene.